Good morning and welcome to Kent Gallery. Today we would like to introduce you to Irving Petlin and our current project, Major Paintings that have been completed during the last 3 decades. So in the tradition of Goya, to James Ensor, to his contemporaries Leon Golub and Arvi Kitai, and perhaps with the younger generation of artists such as William Kentridge, we're pleased to present Irving Petlin and we'll ask him to make some remarks.
Revolution Pastorale.
Revolution Pastorale was painted after a long series of paintings that were done in New York called the Calcium Garden, rubbings from the Calcium Gardens, which were a series of pictures utilizing the shape of a huge canvas and stretches in the form of a history drop. And the history drop was a sort of peek into the past through the watery mirror of memory. And it led me to believe that there was another kind of picture that I wanted to paint, and it was called Revolution Pastorale, which is about a kind of invented universe in which all the participants are self-mythologized, the telling of this untellable story.
So, Irving, what can you tell us about this painting, Stolen Blessing, that you executed in 1986?
Stolen Blessing, this particular Stolen Blessing, because there were others. The others had their origin in the Old Testament, in which the blind Isaac is persuaded by Rebekah to bless the wrong son, not the first son, but the second son. And it's a theme of history, how power is passed on, sometimes mistakenly.
Irving, what about this painting from the Jewish Museum, The Street in Weiswald? It was part of a larger project that was exhibited in 1987. What can you tell us about this painting or this series?
Weiswald is the reverse of the German language term Schwarzwald, the Black Forest. And by naming this whole series on immigration and oppression of the European population and of the history of my own family and their flight from Europe, by naming it Weiswald, I was saying this white is the color of memory, and this is a forest of people and little towns and horses, and it's the route out of Europe to, in this case, America.
So perhaps one of the key works in this exhibition is Hebron, which you worked on for 3 years on raw linen.
It's a drawing with pastel and charcoal on a raw canvas, and the picture was occasioned by events that took place in Hebron in the year that I started the work, in I think 1999. There was a massacre of Palestinians in a mosque by an American. And Hebron became world headline for the struggle that was taking place between the Palestinians and the Israelis in the occupied territories. I felt that Hebron had such an ancient history that it deserved more than just simply a contemporary sense. Because Hebron was the site of many, many historical events involving the Palestinians. And Hebron is, as a picture, is really about struggle. And the idea of violence and struggle is integrated into the drawing itself, even if we were not talking about Hebron specifically. we'd be talking about the strife of peoples trying to express themselves and to register their suffering.
So Irving, the most recent major picture in the show is entitled Gaza, never shown before. What can you tell us about this painting?
Gaza was done starting at the end of December 2008 and beginning of January 2009. It was the occasion of the military assault on the enclosed and sequestered captive community of Gaza. And the thing that it reminded me the most of was, in fact, the earlier event where a major military power strikes at a defenseless civilian population. That was Guernica in 1937 in Spain. Disproportionate force can never be justified when it is the civilians who are the eternal victims. And I won't myself be able to remain silent when I am aware of this or witness this. And this is perhaps the most political picture in the exhibition because it's the most specific